r/relationships. Taza says, new husband might be cheating and I don't know what to do. I 29 female, got married to my boyfriend 33 male, of 5 years just 4 days ago. Today I discovered that he might be cheating on me and I'm beyond devastated. I don't know how to act around him anymore. We have been long distance from 2 years, but have been very emotionally intimate as we talk on the phone constantly. We also engage in a lot of phone sex. He has never indicated that he is unsatisfied in the relationship and has made major life decisions to be with me. He plans to move to a different country where I live now so that he can be with me and has always been the picture of extreme devotion. Today I saw his phone lying unlocked and saw a notification pop up from a girl on Instagram. Curious, since we've been posting a lot of pictures from our friends who attended our wedding, I opened the chat and saw that he was sexting this woman, constantly calling her his crush and soliciting nudes. Scrolled a little more in the chat to see that he has been complimenting her pictures from a while, calling her hot and asking her to sit on his face. I also found that he has been texting a couple of other girls with similar messages. I discovered this at 2 AM, 3 hours ago, and haven't been able to stop crying. I woke him up an hour into my crying and told him that I was having an anxiety attack because I think he might be cheating on me. He reassured with the sweetest terms that I mean the world to him and that I was his favorite person in the whole world. Now he's asleep again, and I don't know what to do with this cheater and liar lying beside me. Any advice on how I should act now would be helpful. Too long, didn't read. My husband of 4 days is emotionally cheating on me from quite a while and I discovered it today. How should I act around? The Ping to Thrive says, get out now. He's not only a cheater and liar, he's stupid. Thegame2526 says, did you suspect before your wedding? Gothgeral Undercover says, this is a tough situation, and it comes down to what you're willing to put up with and move past in a marriage. I usually steer clear of saying things like leave him, because I know it's not always easy and there might be good things in the relationship. My advice is that you talk to him openly, tell him what you saw, ask him about his behavior directly, and see how he reacts and what he tells you. If he gaslights you, blames you, lashes out at you, then yes, it's probably a wise thing to consider a separation. If he admits and gives you his reasons, you can assess whether you're willing to stay with him while he fixes his character flaws. He might be a sex addict, for example, or whether you leave. Don't think about your family at this point, or the wedding. You're the one who'll have to live with this man until death parts you, as the vows say. You're the one who has to make the decision, regardless what everyone else thinks. Either way, he owes you an honest conversation and explanation, and you'll learn a lot about his character while talking to him about what he did. Don't test or probe him, waiting for him to admit willingly that he cheated. It'll only make you feel worse, because he clearly doesn't want to come clear about things. Tell him directly that you know. And yes, if you can, take some screenshots so that you have proof. Free Jazz Manifestation says, please tell me you didn't sign the marriage certificate yet. As others have said, you can sign it later, but you can't unsign it. Please don't sign it until you can process your next steps, whatever they may be. And don't let anyone pressure you or guilt you into signing anything. Was going to say that says, if you are dealing with a lot of anxiety, start writing things down ASAP, because trauma has a way of distorting memories. Make a journal of your findings and your feelings. Keep it a secret for a couple of days until your thoughts start getting clear. Call your sister or your best friend and share your findings with her. And then question him. Illustrious Yard 4661 says, bruv, don't think about anybody else or anything else. Just say what you saw to both parental parties, yours and his, and leave. These type of people will never change. Thank God you saw this now, rather than 10 years down the line with 3 kids and entanglements. This is your God-given chance to escape. Cut your losses and move from this horrible place you're in RN. It only goes upwards from here. Leo Z says. What a liar, just break up with him. LHM2B says. You must realize that you're looking at a crossroad right now. One road will lead you down unending heartache and sadness, the other will lead you down a new life in which peace and growth will happen. If you're seeing this 4 days in, you can't even begin to imagine what will happen when you're pregnant, when you're a mom of multiple kids trying to keep everyone afloat. He said what he said. You are worth more than that. r/relationships. Rylinks says. He, 70 meters, doesn't want us, 30F, to tell his daughters he's in the hospital. I put the ages there because the sub demands it, but there's not much of a relationship between us. It's my mom's boyfriend who I've only met a couple times. He had a horrible fall yesterday, quite literally off a cliff while hiking alone. Mom was there, but didn't feel up for it, so was a mile down the trail, and is in for a bunch of emergency procedures including a full hip replacement. I don't know the full extent of his injuries, but from the call with my mom it sounds like at least a broken wrist, leg, hip. My mom is barely holding together and isn't up for going against his expressed wishes. I feel like his daughters who are around our age should really know. I would want to know if it was my mom, and I'm sure they would want to know. They have a good relationship by all accounts and love him very much. On the other hand, he's firmly expressed his wants. He doesn't want them to worry and see him like this. My worry is that his injuries are severe and he's in his 70s. I don't want to say the worst, but I'm likely biased / projecting though, because I never got to say anything to my dad when he passed. Also, I don't want to say this to my mom, because she has to think positively / optimistically to continue holding it together, so from her point of view she wants to just tell them when he's recovering. Too long. Didn't read. Do I go behind his back and message them or not? Edit. I convinced my mom to have another convo with him, and they texted his daughters, now just to hope he ends up okay. He is a good dude. Very understandably scared, but hopefully now he will have other loved ones beside him that he can learn to lean on. Imchogeral says. Absolutely call them. He has a horror of being seen weak and injured, but it's going to really mess up the relationship between them and your mom if they are kept in the dark, no matter what he chooses. Also, him and your mom are just dating. There's no legal relationship there if she's not his spouse. He can choose to designate her as his person because he can speak right now, but God forbid the worst had happened. They would have to call the daughters immediately because they are his next of kin. They should be informed. Yeah, with such severe injuries. I would really think this is an ask forgiveness later situation. They should be aware and involved as best cases months of recovery. But they should have a chance to see him now or at least talk to him. Bus27 says. My mom is in her mid-60s and she lives alone and is chronically ill and physically disabled. I'm her only child and I'm 40 years old with a family and live 6 hours away. She is independent to the point of being unsafe. Up until she was hospitalized for an emergency in late September, she didn't even have me listed as a contact for her medical stuff. She had no one listed at all. My aunt, her sister, found out about the hospitalization when my mom called her. She was told not to tell me. She immediately called me and told me. I appreciated that so much. Seriously, I'm so grateful to my aunt, even though we are kind of estranged. Yeah, there was nothing I could do from where I live, and my mom has kept her medical history secret from me, so I was useless. I couldn't even get information from the hospital when I called until my mom was awake and agreed to allow them to talk to me. After my mom got home, we talked about the fact that I thought it was not wise for her to continue to block me out from this stuff. I felt like it might be a problem, as I'm her legal next of kin. I also felt personally hurt by the fact that she wants to keep things from me and hide stuff, as if she believes I'm a child or somehow unable to handle things. She agreed to change things on her end and understood my point. She, like your stepdad, didn't want me to worry. But, you know what causes an adult child to worry a lot? Not being able to get information about how their parent is doing, and realizing that, if something happens to their parent no one is going to tell them about it. The anxiety I felt when I realized that she could have died and no one would have been allowed to tell me. OMG. So, I'm in camp tell his kids, and if I were you, I would accept any kind of upset feelings he had towards me as a result. Samami1717 says, he's entitled to privacy regardless of his age or condition. I think you should respect his wishes. Sneakers2 says, from a practical standpoint, your mom is not his wife. Unless they filed paperwork, she can't make any medical decisions on his behalf. At his age, there is a risk for blood clots and stroke during the recovery process. You really need to inform his daughters as they are the ones who will ultimately have to make decisions if he becomes incapacitated. It's better that they know early on, rather than risk him getting worse and them being informed much later. Marksum0D says, he's an adult, he gets to make his own decisions even if they are shitty. Tuokuds says, resident physician here who had something similar happen recently. Girlfriend and girlfriend's daughter did not call patient's family about his hospitalization. When things took a turn, we had to find the patient's legal next of kin, who were his adult daughters. There was irreparable damage when they were called in on day 5 of his hospitalization, after he was now unable to communicate, and they missed their opportunity to say goodbye to their father. If your mom doesn't have durable power of attorney rights, I would encourage to keep his children in the loop, as legally they would become his decision makers in the event of any emergency care, depending on your state, of course. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.